Hey guys, welcome back. Turbo2 here today with a new video. Now today we're talking about Ubisoft sort of as a whole. They've been announcing game after game lately and some even yet to be announced, but they've all been met with sort of a generally negative first impression and general reception from the public. So today we're going to take a look at a couple of those different games and just sort of talk about it because for me, I used to love Ubisoft and I've always supported Ubisoft and liked a lot of their games. Like Siege, when it first started, was a great game. You know, everyone loved the Ezio Assassin's Creeds, everything like that, but it's just been such a downhill, saddening slope lately. I'd like to look at a couple of their new announcements and just take a little time to talk about that with you guys today, sort of try and wrap my head around what it is they're doing and sort of inform you of some new games if you haven't heard about them. So we should probably start with talking about their current games, which would be primarily Rainbow Six Siege. Now, Siege, I quit playing about 4 years ago, I think. I was on about year 3 since beta of playing the game, and it just became too much. Really couldn't get into the game anymore. I didn't like the direction it was going, and so I stopped playing, and so did, my squad that I played with. And ever since we stopped playing, just as expected, it got worse and worse and worse. Even the pros in the scene, every new update, every new season say that it's worse than the last. Each new character sort of takes the game further from what it was meant to be, or at least what the players loved most about it. That tactical gun-based gameplay at the beginning of launch to where it is now, where it's almost like an ability hero shooter. It's all about abilities and on and on. I could go all day talking about Siege, but besides Siege, they don't really have any games going right now. Of course, Valhalla came out and was generally well received. As well, they've done Hyperscape, that I never really enjoyed. Hyperscape. I mean, I played it a little bit. I thought it was okay, but it was just sort of the first of Ubisoft's much too late to the party kind of games. They made a BR years too late that just didn't have enough unique going about it, or just not fun enough, I guess, to keep people playing it. I played it and forgot about it almost just as fast. And now they've started down this road of just sort of playing catch up, of like copying whatever's popular, whatever the newest thing is, whatever like the big game is. They have to just sort of try and leech off of that. And I wish it wasn't like that. I wish they would try and make something new, but I feel like Ubisoft just doesn't want to take risks with anything new lately. And I don't know why that is, because even now, just yesterday, they released footage of X Defiant, their new first-person shooter that they've been working on. That is, Tom Clancy's X Defiant. Has nothing to do with Tom Clancy. Has nothing even close to a theme or a visual style or even a gameplay style of what would suit Tom Clancy. And they continue to sort of just drag his name down. Now, this new X Defiant game looks just like, what, Black Ops, I guess? It just looks like, a little bit of Black Ops, like 3, a little bit of Overwatch, maybe Valorant. Just kind of mush that together, and it's just a COD. It's just free COD. And the problem is that it is free, so it's obviously going to be profitable. It's going to be played at least a little, but it's just so generic. Nothing unique, unoriginal, uninspired. It's just a first-person shooter, and I know you can say that about like any first-person shooter, but they showed Battlefield, and no one said, oh, it's just COD. That is actually new ground. New things are being done. Whereas Ubisoft comes with a new IP, X Defiant, and it's just the same as anything else we've ever seen. It doesn't look good at all. It looks like a complete waste of time. And of course it's free, because no one would pay for that. And I don't know, it's got nowhere to go but down, honestly. It's going to have its launch week. People are going to play it a little bit, and then they're going to forget about it. And I just don't know why you'd set yourself up to fail like that. But again, that's Ubisoft being Ubisoft these days. They just can't be original, and they have to continuously kind of just leech off of whatever the new idea is. Like, oh, we don't have a first-person shooter yet. We're Ubisoft. All we got is Division 2. It's not doing very well at all. We've got Rainbow, but that's not really an arena shooter. That's doing its own thing. We need some sort of quick arena shooter. Let's just copy COD. And that's what they did, so I don't know. It doesn't look good. They used all the right buzzwords, but no one's buying it. It's got more dislikes than likes right on launch day, or right on the trailer's launch day. It's just not good. I've put in my hat to playtest it on August 5th. Maybe I'll get a reply back. Probably not. They're probably looking for big creators, but you never know. If I get a chance to play it, you'll be the first to see that. And also in a similar vein, they've been showing off Rainbow Six Extraction a lot more, which is their full game version of the Outbreak event way back in the day on Rainbow, like 5 years ago, which was during when I used to play Rainbow. And I really, really liked the Outbreak event, as did I think everyone. It was basically Left 4 Dead, but in a Rainbow Six gameplay. And everyone loved it. And then they said, okay, let's take that and make a standalone game, which everyone was down for. And they butchered it terribly. They changed all the character models to this super, like, PC version almost. Like, it's, to me, they used to be, humans that had been sort of turned into these zombies. It's a sort of zombie shooter. They'd been turned into these, like, zombie-like things. But you could see the human underneath, like, spikes coming out of human bodies and stuff like that. Whereas now they have these sort of like the mannequins at like the mall that you would see, like there's just like human, I don't know. They look really bad, and to me that screams trying to appeal to China or places like that where you can't show blood, you can't show gore. So they made them look like these mannequin-esque, just awful player models for the enemies to sort of appeal to China and other markets like that. And on top of that, the gameplay looks uninspired, and it's the exact same. Shooting, characters, guns, models, everything in it is exactly 1-to-1 from Rainbow, and they're charging full price for it. So they make a new first-person shooter that's free. They literally copy-paste a mode from a different game, and then they charge you full price. I don't know where they come up with this stuff, but Rainbow Six Extraction looks awful. I mean, there's a few people excited for it, but generally negative reviews again. Just a bad reception. It just doesn't look good. And I was excited for it. I wanted it to be good. Like I really wanted to enjoy it because I remember that was something I used to like a lot in Rainbow. And of course, they found a way to mess it up. Besides all that, of course, I mentioned the downfall of Hyperscape. It's not going to ever come back up. But Ubisoft has also been sort of rumored to be working on something they're calling Assassin's Creed Infinity. It's no longer really a rumor, as it has been confirmed to be in the works. Whether it will ever see fruition is yet to be determined, but it is being worked on, called Assassin's Creed Infinity. And when it was first made into articles about it, they were throwing the word Fortnite around, which I think immediately began its downfall because these game journalists like to use, clickbaity stuff like that. This is the Dark Souls of this game. This is like the Fortnite of adventure games. They like to do stuff like that, so then as soon as they said the new Assassin's Creed has got a Fortnite-like blah blah blah, everyone is like, oh, bad. Fortnite, bad. New Assassin's Creed, bad. Whereas I think the idea for it is actually good. I just think that the chances of Ubisoft actually delivering and doing right by the idea and, what they actually release being good is very unlikely. But the general idea for it, to me, it's nothing like Fortnite from the sounds of it. To me, it sounds more like Assassin's Creed if it were Destiny. Think of like the Destiny hub. You've got the tower, and then you've got all the planets around the tower that are sort of each different game world that you can go to do missions, etc. Now, pretend the tower would be like the Animus, where you were like human. So like, if you played the original Assassin's Creeds, let's say on the tower you're Desmond and you're walking around normally as like your character's self. Then you sit into the Animus in the tower, and you can pick between these planets that would be different time periods to play in as different relatives of your main player character. So one planet would be Valhalla's sort of Viking time period. One would be like Ezio's Renaissance time period. One would be the Assassin's Creed Syndicate time period. One could be the Unity time period, on and on. So they can basically just take their old maps, upskill them to this new game. They don't have to rework on all this crazy stuff, and they can that way add in sort of new content and new maps. Like, oh, here's Season 2 is Origins, and they just take the Assassin's Creed Origins, Desert and Pyramids and all that, put that in as its own like hub world with missions and stuff like that. To me, that sounds really cool. You've got like dozens of Assassin's Creed games and areas in one game. You can freely go between different time periods. I can't see how it could be bad. Like, it would be fun, in my opinion. But with the articles being made saying it's a Fortnite-like evolving map, because they said it was going to be live service and evolving as you go, that immediately sort of chained it with Fortnite somehow. So now it has this huge negative stigma. And to me, I think that Assassin's Creed Infinity might actually be good, and it's the only real thing that they have going for them right now. But now they have this uphill battle they have to fight against the marketing of it being like Fortnite in some way, when I'm pretty sure anyone with a brain in their head knows that Assassin's Creed is nothing like Fortnite. You know, for third-person shooter battle royale, third-person adventure game, you know, melee combat action game. But what are you gonna do when the people on Twitter get a hold of it and they start using buzzwords? You can't really stop it. But again, Extraction looks bad. Defiant looks abhorrent. And everything's just kind of been downhill. I really wish they'd stop using Tom Clancy's this if they're just going to make random shit. Wish they would actually, you know, use the guy's name on stuff that he might want to be associated with. Because I'm sure he's rolling in his grave watching the Defiant trailer where they go very realistic gunplay and very realistic this as they're walking around with like force fields and like mini guns and healing dust and all this crazy shit. Like, it's not Tom Clancy's. But again, that has been sort of my viewpoint on Ubisoft. There's not much room for them to succeed when they continuously dig themselves these holes by releasing uninspired garbage. And, like, people know now when they see something that is just another the same shit, they know it's going to be more of the same shit. Yeah, it's free, but that doesn't still mean it's worth our time. That's about it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Bye. Also, Far Cry 6 looks pretty good. It looks actually fun. I forgot it existed.